Hello! In this video, I'm gonna walk you through diode installation and we're gonna make some tests to data ingestion to NetBox. Diode is a new tool of NetBox Labs that are currently in public preview. So it isn't a fully developed tool, but it already has a lot of interesting things to add. So let's move on. First, in diode repository, having the get started session, the step to put diode running. So the first thing we need to do is install diodes plugin. So let's do it. So here we have the diodes plugin, that NetBox plugin. Installation is pretty straightforward, just like any other plugin. So let's go. Activate the virtual environment. And let's pip install the plugin. Okay. Let's edit configuration.py. Add the plugin. And restart the services. Okay. Now after to do that, you can see that my NetBox environment, that's a fresh environment on version 4.0.8. Have it any plugin. Now that I refresh it, I have NetBox diodes plugin and got a new tab, NetBox Labs. The diode state, and as I had said, that's the plug under development plugin. So we should get something here, but it's gonna be in the later versions. Now for our users, we still only have the admin user, no groups, and no API tokens. So our next step is to configure the diodes plugin. To do that, let's follow the walkthrough. So the plugin. First thing we need to do is to export some environmental variables. So this one, this one, and lastly this. Now if the environment variable exported, so if I grab diode, have these three, we need to run the migration. So cd netbox, python, manage, migrate the plugin. And that's it. Now, after the migrations are applied, the plugin is gonna create 3 tokens. These ones, 3 users, then 1 group. Diode group here. Okay. Next step here, we need to deploy the diode server. So let's run the diode server. So to do that, let's follow these steps. Okay. Okay. .that. And as you can see, we have 3 different API keys that we're not gonna use them. We're gonna use the ones we created here. So, okay. Let's delete these 3 lines and paste the ones we created later. Now, the plugin base API. Let's put an HTTPS and our NetBox host. So NetBox. And here's have a little trick. We need to have a valid certificate. That's why I'm using the full name, because I have a Let's Encrypt certify for that. If you just put self-signed certificate, it won't work. We're gonna try that a little bit later. So let's save it and Docker compose app-t. Okay, now let's check Docker inspect if we get our environment variables correctly. Just the service, and here it is. API, okay. The values we set up there. Let's see the reconciler. Then it's our base URL and diode API. Let's check. No, it's wrong. See? This API doesn't match this one. Probably I have some. Okay, that's something that shouldn't be there. Okay, let's copy. Good. Now it's red. Now let's get our Docker containers down, then raise them again. Okay, let's see our environment variables. So the base URL, diode key, and it's all good. Okay. Now that we have our diode server running and our plugin working, we need to push some data to diode. We can do that using the diode SDK. You can see here diode SDK, and you see how you can push data to diode. There are some agents like diode Apple, and the one I developed that is snmp-diode. The snmp-diode makes some snmp calls to the devices, gather data, and push it to diode. So for that, we are going to using this lab environment I have set up with Container Lab and 2 SR Linux. So what we're going to do is going to gather data from this network, collect device data, and push into NetBox. If you go into our instance, you can see that we have any sites, and devices and nothing at all. So let's move on. But first, let's see what's going on with diode. Okay. Deactivate NetBox environment. And create a new project folder. Create a virtual environment. Allow let's install snmp-diode. Okay, now since our lab environments are running on this network, let's just make some collection. snmp-diode, branch network. Let's put in /29, version 2, community, public. With this comment, it's gonna run only a dry run, so it's gonna collect the data and put it into this frame. And that's it. You're able to get our device data. Now let's push it to diode. D. But first, let's see if we got any environment variables here. Okay, all of them. -D, the diode server, gRPC. Diode. Sorry for that. We need to run the apply. Okay. Let's run the advancements. Apply. And that's it. It gathered data from all those devices. Most of them we got a timeout since they're in device. We push those data to diode, and if consider services inside diode are working on data. And that's the magic behind diode. The developer doesn't need to think much about the site ID and all the data he needs to push something inside the API. It only needs to set up an entity, a diode entity, push it to diode, and do whatever it needs to get that data inside NetBox. Now let's see what happens in our NetBox instance. Say we have now one site, one device type, and two devices. Devices SRL1, SRL2, just like these two devices. Device is a Nokia, if you know device type, and you got all those interfaces. And you can see that you have only 1/1 enabled and 1/1.0 enabled. All other interfaces are disabled. You have management 0 and management 0.0 enabled too. You still get the MAC address too, so here. Just a second. Okay, copy the table. MAC address. Add. Okay, how it's working. If you have the MAC address of all those interfaces too. All that carried with snmp-diode and the diode server. Those values are just the values that are returned by the devices. So if you run snmp walk public on these IP address LD, so 18. Okay, that's the value that snmp returning. So the collection is doing exactly what it's expected to do. And that's it. Thank you for your attention. I hope you liked the video and seeing some really nice features that diode delivered for us. Thank you.